Everyone thought Middleton High was just another school filled with routine classes, lockers lined with stickers, and students who stuck to their cliques. But the first day of second term shattered that illusion when a quiet girl named Naila walked through the gates. She was different. Not in her clothes, not in her face, not in her walk, but in her silence. Naila was 16, with long black hair always braided neatly, and sharp, observant eyes that didn't dart nervously like most new kids. She wore her uniform properly, no rolled-up sleeves, no rebellious accessories. She sat in the back, didn't raise her hand, didn't speak unless spoken to. The other girls whispered. The boys snickered. And the bullies noticed. It always starts this way, when someone's too quiet, too calm, too unlike them. Naila's first week was just cruel whispers. Hey new girl, you mute or what? Nice braids, Pocahontas. She thinks she's better than us. She ignored them. Then came the lunchroom incident. 3 boys, led by Ryan, the school's self-proclaimed prince and a known troublemaker, surrounded her table. He was the kind of kid who'd smile at teachers and trip freshmen when they weren't looking. His sidekicks, Naila and Adi, followed him like shadows. You're in my seat, Ryan said casually, though the table was half empty. Naila didn't move. She just looked up, her expression unreadable. Ryan smirked and sat next to her anyway. Naila and Adi flanked her sides. It was suffocating. You new girls gotta learn to make friends fast, Ryan said, eyes gleaming with mischief. He reached for the hem of her skirt. What kind of fabric is this? Fancy. Before he could finish, Naila's hand shot out, crack. A scream tore through the cafeteria. Ryan's wrist twisted unnaturally, bent backward at a horrifying angle. His face paled as he clutched it, unable to understand what had just happened. Naila grabbed her shoulder, furious, snap. His wrist was next. Adi didn't even get the chance. Naila stood up calmly, her eyes cold. You ever touch me again, she said, voice low and unwavering, you'll leave in an ambulance. The room had fallen dead silent. Students stared. Some with awe. Some with fear. Some with admiration. A teacher rushed in and escorted Naila to the principal's office, where she quietly told her side. The security footage spoke for itself. The boys had initiated contact. The injuries? Self-defense. Still, whispers swirled, how did she do that? Is she trained? She didn't even look scared. Backstory. What no one knew was that Naila had spent 6 years training in martial arts back in Karachi before her father passed away. After his death, her mother relocated them to a quieter town, hoping for peace, stability, maybe even healing. But peace didn't come easily. Naila had faced bullies before. In her old neighborhood, they mocked her for training like a boy, for staying quiet, for not being girly enough. She learned quickly that silence wasn't weakness, it was restraint. She had promised her late father she'd never use her strength and anger, only when necessary. That promise echoed in her head every time she faced humiliation. Every time she was targeted for being quiet, reserved, and different. The aftermath. For a few days, the school was chaotic. Parents were called. The boys lied, claiming Naila snapped unprovoked. But the footage proved otherwise. No action was taken against Naila, only the boys were suspended. Something changed after that. The same students who mocked her before started sitting near her. One girl, Hiba, even walked up and said, I wish I could be like you. I always freeze when someone touches me the wrong way. Naila looked at her and said gently, you can. But you don't need fists. You just need to stop believing you're powerless. That marked the beginning of a new chapter. Naila started a self-defense club for girls, free, every Saturday, in the school gym. What started with 3 girls turned into 20 within a month. She taught them not just how to defend themselves, but when to. She taught them to carry themselves with dignity, to speak when necessary, to be still like calm water, and to strike like lightning when needed. Ryan never dared cross her path again. He returned to school, his hand still bandaged, quieter than before. Message: silence is not weakness.
Kindness is not permission. Boundaries are not optional.
Naila's story reminded everyone that true strength lies not in how loud you are, but in how well you know yourself, your power, your limits, your values. And sometimes, the quietest ones carry the loudest storms.
Ending note.
So, next time you see someone quiet, don't mistake their silence for fear.
Because sometimes, it's just the sound of discipline.
And when that discipline breaks, it breaks bones.